Hey guys, Jason here with a Season 3 preview video. Season 3 is being released later in 2023, and I know with these sorts of things we tend to hold our cards close to the chest, but I thought we'd mix things up a little bit this time around and let you in on what we're planning. Especially because this is probably going to be the last time we do a project with this level of scope and magnitude, and I'm also hoping this will help generate excitement for the upcoming videos. I'm going to start talking about the new decks first, and this is one of my personal favorites, Queen Maiden the Eternal. This is an aggro-focused deck that uses a lot of multi-civ cards. It uses by far the most multi-civ cards out of any deck we've ever built in real life, and I hope you're looking forward to that. There are certainly a lot of shenanigans. Now, Judgment may seem like a strange inclusion in this deck, but we find that the roll compression it provides in terms of being able to remove opposing creatures, as well as draw the user cards, we find that extremely valuable, and it actually helped make the deck a lot more consistent. Moving on to another aggro deck, we've got Fire Water Aggro, or Fire Water Rush. Not quite sure what to call this deck. Anyway, this is one of Damien's pet projects. It happens to use a lot of Dragonoids. That wasn't really intentional, but here we are. So Zakran is a new card, the one on the left, and Tick Tick in the middle is also a new card. I think Tick Tick is a standout card in the new set. It's a speed attacker that lets you draw a card whenever it attacks, so that seems pretty good. And this deck is also going to use Unicorn Fish. Unicorn Fish is a card that was released all the way back in the first set, and we completely slept on it in Seasons 1 and 2. Damien has since shown us the power of this card, so Unicorn Fish is making its Gauntlet debut with a vengeance. Moving on, we have Tribal Armorloids. We found that Smash Warriors Dragandu was a very interesting card. We liked, I guess like may not be the best word to use, but it elicited strong emotions from us. When you were using it, it was fantastic. When you were on the receiving end, it was the worst card in existence. And this is actually the evolution of the Lex Tech deck that we were planning for Season 2, but never ended up building. And if you want to learn more about that, you can check out our video on Season 2, the decks that didn't make it. But yeah, we found that the big weakness of Smash Warrior was medium-sized creatures. But with Petrova, you're actually able to get past that problem. So it is very much focused on creature control, and it's, I want to say it's a pretty good time. Moving on, we've got Dolgeza. So Dolgeza, I would say, is one of the most iconic cards in DM13, even though in the OCG it wouldn't become very good until several sets after its release. Now, I know showing Soul Swap and Aqua Surfer in a Nature Water deck doesn't tell you a whole lot, but I still want to keep you guys on your toes, so I won't spill all of the beans just yet. And for the last of the new decks, we've got some Angel Commands. Now, Asteria on the left and Ozesu in the middle are the new cards from DM13. I think they have some pretty interesting effects. Damien especially liked them quite a lot when he first read them. And where there are Angel Commands, there's Alcadeus. So this is admittedly the deck that we are having the most trouble with. I want to say all of the other decks are at 80 to 90% completion. This one is lagging behind by a fair bit. Originally, we built this as Light Dark Nature, and now we're trying out Light Dark Water. Let us know if you have any deck building tips for how to make this deck work. Alright, so now let's take a look at some returning old favorites. We've got Wave Strikers. Now this is another deck that I really like, even though building 4-civ decks can be incredibly frustrating. Trumbo is the big addition to the deck. I think it's a fantastic card, and it's really a shame that we never got him in the TCG, but I guess that's kind of the whole point of Season 3. And you'll also notice we have Miraculous Rebirth over here, which was notably missing from our deck profile, actually from every Wave Striker deck profile we've ever done, so I'm looking to rectify that mistake. Another deck that's coming back, the Outlier. So the Outlier is going to be built differently this time around. Holy Awe, so there's always a chance, I guess, and it's also going to use Fanu, who's one of the new cards in the set. Here's another one of my favorites, the Mono Water deck. Returning to its true mono water roots, we are using Spin Slicer, and we're also using the new card Pacific Champion. So Pacific Champion cannot be attacked and cannot be blocked by non-evolution creatures. So he's basically the same power level, poses the same threat, but is half the cost of Hydrus and Crystal Paladin. So that's super duper interesting. Lucky Ball is another card that I feel like should have been in the previous Mono Water list, but was missing, I guess, because we needed to make space for the T-Dad gimmicks. But I think Lucky Ball just belongs in these sorts of decks. So yeah, here's me rectifying another air quotes mistake, shall we say. Moving on, we are going into the more complex decks now. We have Swap Box. So Judgment is going to be the card that holds this deck together, but the presence of Judgment actually changes quite a lot of the deck's composition. We're able to go hard on the mana ramp in the early game, so that's why we're playing Poisonous Mushroom, and we don't need to play Aqua Hulkus anymore, so that's a bit of a surprise, maybe. Bulmedius will be the main finisher of this deck, yeah. And for the last deck, we've got Forcive Deck Out. Now this deck admittedly doesn't change very much. We just added in a couple of copies of Judgment, but the well, maybe not groundbreaking, but the main reason why I wanted to include it in this season is because I have finally arrived at the conclusion that Slash Charger is 100% Hall of Fame worthy in a 40 card format. I wanted to show how this deck could be built with one copy of Slash Charger. So Future Slash is obviously in the deck to make up for it, and there are a bunch of other tweaks that the deck had to get to continue to be viable. But alright, so that concludes my preview for Season 3. This video ended up being a bit longer than I thought, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless, and I hope you're looking forward to some of the future videos that we have planned. As always, thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.